seconds earlier then, because I don't know if I can take this.
Thank you for joining us. Welcome back to SwitchCast, Season 3, second episode. We are very glad that you have joined us tonight or any time that you are listening to this in the future. We are live here on YouTube. And SwitchCast is a podcast where we seek to educate, edify, and entertain you on the drive of your life. It is not just for car nerds, but it's for everybody and anybody who owns a car, drives a car, enjoys a car. We're trying to help you out and increase that enjoyment and make you a more knowledgeable owner. So we're going to have fun with this. We have a new format for Season 3 that is more compact and more lively. We'll take up less of your Wednesday night so you can get back to doing the things you really want to do. And it includes such characters as the Appraiser, the Scam Smeller, the Shrewd Negotiator, and the Corvette Curmudgeon. And of course, we have Tyler Sanders as the Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson. And occasionally we have Mark Spence as that guy, but he is being that guy tonight, and he is not here. Probably out buying cars or doing something, buying Ford 7.3 liter diesels.
That he promises are in good shape, but sometimes I know that they're just not.
Yeah, so we've got some cool series coming up. We're going to do the top 10 questions that you don't need to ask when you're buying a car and the top 10 questions that you do that most people don't think of. And we're going to be looking at scams, teaching you how to avoid scams very easily, and certainly just having some fun along the way. So if you have a potential scam that you think might be a scam, or you're not sure, a deal that's just too good to be true, send it our way, and we will help you figure out if it's real or not. And if you have a question for the appraiser, you want to get your car valued for buying or selling, send it along as well. And we'll be trying to answer your questions. If you submit them through the live stream where you're watching, we will do our best to get to as many as we can tonight. So let's get right into it. Last week, we discussed photography when selling a car, and I guess more specifically on auctions. And we brought up a little bit of a controversial topic regarding professional photographs on car sales listings. And there are data out there that says that good photographs or professional photographs and videos will sell cars faster and for more money. And I said that at least on auction sites, I had not seen that to be the case. And I say that with all respect and deference to a lot of my friends who are professional car photographers, and their work is awesome. I have hired some of them on occasion. I have one of their photographs hanging on my wall that I paid dearly for, and it was worth every penny. And I think that that profession should be supported. But we're looking at about this from an ROI perspective, and just from a perspective of what do you need to do to get the most money for your car when you're selling it. And I want to make an important distinction here between good photos and professional photos. So I don't think that you should put up your car with crappy photos or just like cell phone photos in portrait mode. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about hiring a professional photographer that's going to have all the lighting and make all the colors pop and set up the composition properly, and really get the emotions flowing and the juices flowing when you look at that photo, and make you want the car. You know, the kind of photo that you would see in a magazine, versus just very, very good, crisp photos in proper lighting, which most well-trained people can do. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort, especially with modern, even iPhone technology, to take a really good photo, to follow the rule of thirds, to have proper composition, and to take good detailed photos of your car showing everything that people want to see. There's plenty of templates and guides out there for you to do this. And what I'm trying to make the distinction here is say that I have not seen a dollar for dollar increase on auction sites when vehicles had professional photos taken versus just really good photos taken by whoever was working in-house or taking it with an iPhone. And we've experienced this ourselves. Actually, we had a few different auctions that I said, man, these are really special cars. I'm going to hire a photographer, come out and make this car pop. And I loved the photos. I fell in love with the car in the photos. And unfortunately, they didn't go to the moon. The bidders had other things in mind, and they were not swayed by the photos. I think they were maybe making a more rational decision. And then on the flip side, we've had ones that we just took simply good, detailed photos, and the bidding went crazy. And the only thing I can explain is not necessarily a causation, but just, I guess, coincidence, right? So you have some auctions where there's a number of other contributing factors. You have the right people, quote unquote, in the room who want that car, and the right presentation, the right discussion, the right provenance on the car, a lot of other factors that go into it. So photography and presentation, or visual presentation, is certainly one factor, but it is only one factor. And I think informed buyers, which are probably a good majority of the buying public for enthusiast cars out there, are looking at more than just the photos and the emotions they get when they see the photos. Now, I'll also add to that. So there's a couple good examples on Bring a Trailer specifically. I don't like continually referencing that auction platform, but they do sell so many cars, and they have become a tour de force in the online marketplace that it's a good place to continually reference. So there's two sellers on Bring a Trailer that are worth looking up that I think illustrate this point. One of them, their username is 911R, and the other one is 1600 Veloce, or for Americans, 1600 Veloce. I am an American too. I'm just making fun of, yes, anyone I can make fun of. So 911R takes very bright photos with loud backgrounds, lights in the background, or for a while they were taking photos with a moving train in the background, and very, very well known on Bring a Trailer for their incredible photographs and their driving videos. And they have some really, really exciting cars as well. And both of these guys are what I would consider power sellers on Bring a Trailer. They've got cars running every single week. 1600 Veloce, as far as I can tell, does not use professional photography. They just take a picture in their, the owner's driveway or whatever, but they take like 300 to 400 photos per car and 5 or 6 detailed videos of the condition. They're boring as sin. I mean, they're literally just like going around the interior and going around the engine, whereas 911R is taking these exciting driving videos, taking the cars to red line. Like, everybody loves it. The engagement is there from the audience perspective. But in terms of, I guess, results, I think I've seen more high dollar record sales from the 1600 Veloce account than from 911R. They've both had some really good results and some really just normal or mediocre results, but at least the ones I watch, I continually see 1600 Veloce knock it out of the park with their results, and 911R tends to just kind of follow the market normally. They have a few outliers here and there, but I look at that and go, hey, I don't think this photography thing is contributing to the results at all. Now, I don't think it's a bad thing. What it does is branding, right? So everybody knows 911R by their photos. They see those photos and they go, that's their listing. So if you're following a certain seller and you say, listen, I want to do business with them, I'm loyal to them, then that's certainly a good thing for branding. And that's important to us as well. We take consistent photos in the same place every time, same background as much as we can, so that people recognize us and know, hey, that's a Switch Cars car. And for the bigger auctions like RM Sotheby's and Gooding, who hire professional photographers to go out on location for all their listings. I think that's important for them as well. They're putting forth an image of professionalism, of quality, and the professional photos are not necessarily, they're not saying, okay, this photo will sell this car, but they're just trying to exude excellence in everything they do. And if they have crappy photos that were submitted by the seller rather than flying out a professional photographer to present the car well, then that's going to reflect poorly on their brand. So I think the summary here is that the professional photos is more about branding than about direct results. It's not a one-for-one thing where you go, okay, I'm going to have pro photos done of this car and it's going to knock it out of the park versus another one that I'm just going to take cell phone photos with. But it's a consistent branding thing. The one thing I will say, though, bad photos, that will definitely hinder a car sale. We've seen it over and over and over again, that if you can't take half-decent photos that show the car in proper light, your auction's going to tank. Almost guaranteed. Especially these, we bought a car this week. We bought a BMW M3 that had previously sold on Bring a Trailer. We didn't buy it on the auction. We bought it from the guy who won it on the auction. But we looked back at the auction and it looked like the pictures were taken with like a friggin' potato, to borrow a millennial term. I don't even know where that term came from, but I'm stealing it and using it. They were taken like with a flip phone. There was all this glare and haze and crap, and it made the car look terrible. And it went for a steal. Like, we actually paid more for the car 2 years later than he paid on the Bring a Trailer auction. So, and of course, this fad where people will take photos in portrait mode. I see this all the time. People are like, hey, can you sell my car? And they send me this photo, and like 8/10 of the photo is asphalt and sky, and then this car in the middle. And I'm like, people, a car's natural dimensions is like 16 by 9. It's in landscape mode. Stop taking pictures of wide things that aren't very tall in an orientation that's tall and not very wide. Like, this does, you have to get this through your head, right? Okay. Side rant, just in general, I can't stand the portrait mode, right? Life exists in landscape. Our eyes, God put our eyes next to each other, not on top of each other.
It's the social medias. A portrait works better on Instagram. That's why when Instagram crops it.
They didn't have to design it that way.
I'm agreeing. It's just social media's ruined this.
It's so stupid. But it's like you take a video of something happening, and it's like I can't see the sides of what's happening. Like, friggin' turn your phone over. My eyes are this way. I'm not turning. My eyes are not like a friggin' on top of each other. God didn't make us that way. Life happens in landscape, but cars especially. So, yes, you can take photos with your cell phone. You can take good photos with your cell phone. You can get good results, but for heaven's sakes, take it in proper lighting, clean your lens, don't have the sun right there, clean your car, and turn your dang phone sideways. So there we go. That's all I have to say about photos. That was just a kind of a follow-up and expanding of the discussion last week. I don't want to take any business away from my professional photographer friends, and I will continue to support them. But, it's just from a business perspective on our end, we're looking at it auction to auction going, okay, does this ROI on this particular one? And I think it's important for people to think about that when they're selling the cars. What's important to spend my money on? And, but if you suck at taking photos, then by all means, hire a professional. So, all right. Rant over. I hope that's helpful.
That was a lot sooner. We were getting into a rant than I thought we would. But
what's that?
That was a rant a lot sooner than I thought we were going to have. But here we are. Let's go.
This entire podcast is a rant. Come on.
No, it's amazing. The my most recent car purchase, it was sold. Well, actually, no, it was on Bring a Trailer like 3 years ago, I think, and the pictures are abysmal. I think I sent you some of them when I was looking at the car. Like, you can't tell what color.
I don't
it
think
is.
the picture.
Like,
I don't think the pictures were that
location.
problem. I think the gray interior was the problem.
Well, that was a second.
You can't
problem.
help the gray interior with photos.
Well, the gray
it's
interior
still
wasn't
gray.
the problem.
The gray.
Oh, God. They took these photos inside of like a storage building, like a U-Haul building that just happened to be able to fit cars in it.
Okay, I'm going to put my foot in my mouth here.
All right, I'm ready.
Matt Farah, great friend of mine, and he probably doesn't watch this podcast, so it's fine. I'll still get invited on his podcast. However, he's got the West Side Collector Car Storage, which is a fantastic operation. I've been out and seen it. It is first class, A1. But one of the funniest things he did, and he got flack for it on social media, is they posted a picture of a Porsche in their facility and basically were like, hey, one of the advantages of dealing with West Side Collector Car Storage, in addition to their concierge service and all the stuff they provide for people, was, we can represent your car on Bring a Trailer, or you just have a killer backdrop for your car for photos. But the photo they used for this post was a washed out cell phone picture of a car with a concrete backdrop. And everybody was just like, okay, you say this, but this photo is terrible. Like, where is this killer backdrop you speak of?
All they had to do was push it in front of the lifts, which is
I'm
so
just
cool.
Like, oh, Matt, I love you, but you missed. Like, somebody or whoever's doing the social media, whoever did that post, I'm like, okay, use a good picture. If you're going to advertise your pictorial services or whatever, I feel like it's a Michael Scott use of that word. Like, use a really good photo. Hey, check out our professional photo services. Potato picture. Oh, Matt, forgive me. Anyway.
Uh-oh. We're losing them.
Yes. All right. On to the on to our first segment, first character, which is the newly introduced, debuted last week, Corvette Curmudgeon. This is a character created for the VinWiki Survey Panel series, but it's been long lurking underneath just because of all the Corvette curmudgeons that I deal with. But the Corvette Curmudgeon segment is brought to you by Celebrity Machines, and I have to make a note that the Corvette Curmudgeon very much likes buying things from Celebrity Machines because they sell vanity plates and movie replica plates and things like that. Because when the Corvette Curmudgeon goes to the Corvette Museum, he's very upset that they charge $40 for a commemorative license plate there. So he appreciates the massive 25.39% discount code, and he can buy it directly from Celebrity Machines because the Corvette Curmudgeon is nothing if he isn't cheap. Also note, this is not a stereotype. This is a direct imitation, and to prove it, I have actual Corvette Curmudgeon comment from the Facebook in response to an ad somebody posted for an 84,000-mile Corvette for sale, which we all congratulate the guy, right, for using his reliable, fuel-efficient, comfortable, fun sports car to live an incredible life.
Unlike a lot of Corvette owners.
Right. So he's got an 84,000-mile Corvette for sale. This crank responds with, and I quote, 84,000 miles? Probably a lot cheaper to buy a TV instead of driving aimlessly. What? That is a real quote from a real person.
That's a take, I guess.
I'm like,
sure is an opinion.
Driving aimlessly? Driving a Corvette is aimless? That's, if anything is aimless, it's sitting in front of a TV. God. I think I responded with something I did. I responded with sitting in front of a TV will give you fat butt disease.
Oh, I'm surprised you're still in this group.
I didn't. There's no moderation there. It's awesome. It's terrible and awesome at the same time. Okay.
Goodness.
Fire away.
All right. Nope.
Oh, yes.
We're 2 episodes in, and the man's already forgetting how to run his own show. Alrighty, Mr. Curmudgeon. This week, we've got some rather inclement weather outside. It's been a bit of a blizzard here in Northeast Ohio. Have you ever put snow tires on a Corvette?
What the hell kind of question is that? Friggin' snow tires on a Corvette? I can't friggin' afford to change my tires. Still got the original ones on. What do you think I am? I only drive that car on 70-degree days when the humidity is between 50 and 60%, and there's a car show that I can go to that has a class that I can win.
But
I can't friggin' drive it in the rain, let alone the snow, you dimwit.
So you don't want to go slide it around a parking lot or
What's
something?
sliding around? That's what them whippersnappers do, friggin' reckless driving. No, I got a Chevy Cavalier for the winter. It's got 62,000 miles on it. I bought it brand new. I got the GM employee discount back in 1996. I got all season tires on it. I've only changed them once, changed the oil twice, did it myself. No, friggin', it's in my garage under 3 covers. What's wrong with you?
All right, thank you, Mr. Curmudgeon. The Corvette Curmudgeon is brought to you by Celebrity Machines, and they are a proud sponsor of SwitchCast. Celebrity Machines offers more than 250 different screen-accurate license plates as they appeared in movies and TV shows like Back to the Future.
This is what you are for asking that question.
Ghostbusters, The Fast and the Furious, Breaking Bad, and so many more. Celebrity Machines also makes our dealer insert plates, as well as our commemorative 2539 plates from the fastest cannonball run ever. Visit CelebrityMachines.com for more info and use promo code SwitchCast to save 25.39% at checkout.
That's what I'm talking about. Big discount. Can I enter it twice?
See, I thought when I said thank you, Mr. Curmudgeon, that was the off switch, but it seems that we've malfunctioned this week. We'll fix that next week. We have some maintenance to do. It's fine. We'll get things back on track.
Oh, I did not take up smoking this week. It's winter here.
Have some more whiskey. Warm up your insides.
Oh yeah, that helps the voice cords. So we're moving right to the wall of shame, which is so easy in the car business. Now, the wall of shame is our opportunity as a dealer to fight back against the people who give us bad reviews or say dumb things or just suck at life in terms of negotiations and general human interaction with car deals. And I know that dealers get a bad reputation, and a lot of them earn it for being equally as terrible to deal with. But some customers, what's the term? Buyers are liars. Yes, that is one of my favorite terms. Buyers are liars, and the customers they earn it. So this one happened to be a fellow dealer that earned this title this week, and this is still kind of an ongoing thing. They're not too happy. One of the developments was just today, but I maintain my integrity in this interaction. So in order to give you a flavor of this, I'll give you the background afterwards. But to give you a flavor of this, Tyler is going to play the part of the other dealer who is buying a Porsche from me. Now, I am middling the deal, right? So essentially, they had asked me to find a car. I had found the car. They sent somebody to look at it, and they were buying it through me. So I wasn't buying the car anyway. I was just buying it on their behalf, and the seller knew that. So I guess here we go. Tyler, play the part of the bad guy.
All right. I guess it's your podcast, so you get to be the good guy. And also you were. But anyway, where do I send the funds to?
If you want to do it through my dealer, that's fine.
Sending a check again towards the end of the week.
Okay, cool. This is all right. So we have an accurate timeline. This is Monday, January 16th. So it's last Monday, right? Yes. Monday the 16th is when he committed to the deal and said, I'll send a check towards the end of that week.
Shipper will be there on the 28th. Tell him.
Okay, so we skipped to last Friday. So he said a check will be there the end of this week, and I texted him, check coming today for the Porsche?
Monday it goes out. You will have it Tuesday. Have a client for my Huracan?
No, I don't. So then we skip to this Monday, right? So he said, this Monday, the check will go out. I will have it Tuesday. To me, that is very simple. You will have the funds. He's already delayed once. No big deal. So then Monday, he texts me.
Sorry, you won't have payment until Thursday. Didn't realize how much I spent after the GT3. Need to move some monies around.
I responded simply, not liking this. Obviously, you'll need to delay the shipper unless you're wiring funds, because the shipper was supposed to come Saturday. If he's sending a check, can't guarantee it'll clear that fast.
Not liking what? You never get delayed? If you want to cancel this deal, that's fine. Just let me know. To be honest, I would have expected a little different response the first time and definitely some kind of response the second time.
I'll cancel this deal and we'll get the next one. Make sure you're ready to party next time around.
Won't be a next time.
What am I missing?
Because I was late, you got an attitude and canceled this deal. Not the way I do business. That car isn't going anywhere. You never got tied up and delayed?
We do business differently. I prefer it when people simply do what they say they will.
Well, I'm not perfect, like you, I guess. Like I said, I have a very hard time believing you never get delayed. All good. You the man, I guess.
He was right. Never said I was perfect, just said I didn't like getting delayed. However, I tend to know how much money I have left after buying a car and don't commit to buying another one without the funds available.
Different accounts, just needed to move money. I was told originally not to deal with switch cars by a few on the forums. Guess the truth finally came out. We'll block you now and we'll be leaving. No G.
Leaving. I want to leave in what?
Yeah, like it's like he wanted to
Leaving
slam the door on you, but he
leaving
didn't.
reviews online, leaving I don't know. So I have so many thoughts about this, right? Like some people may find it fairly harmless, like, okay, whatever, you needed a few more days to pay for a car. But I've been in the car business long enough. I've been down the road that what's the Michael Scott phrase? Fool me once, strike one. Fool me twice, strike three. So, right? So he tried to fool me twice, right? Oh, I'll pay you Friday. Just kidding, I'll pay you Monday. Just kidding, I'll pay you Thursday. And I'm like, okay, first one is okay. Second one, yeah, okay. Now I have no idea if you're actually going to pay me Thursday. Plus, you use the trigger phrase. I don't like the word trigger, but it does trigger something in my brain where I go, okay, this is a common phrase for people who are playing games, and that is, quote unquote, move monies. Okay? He needs 3 days to move monies. Like, I can transfer funds between any of my accounts pretty darn quickly. It might be expensive. I might have to pay for a wire transfer, but, like, yeah, I can move monies quickly. But that was a trigger phrase for me that if somebody is already being slightly dishonest in a sense, which is, you know, as simple as I'm going to pay you Monday, just kidding, I'm not going to pay you Monday. That to me is a lack of integrity. And once you say move monies around, I'm like, I've heard that so many times before with people who really either have no intention of following through on the deal, or what dealers or brokers will do is they'll start shopping the car. So he initially said, oh, I want this car for myself. Common line for a dealer, whatever. I don't care. But I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's second guessing it and he's trying to find a buyer, or his buyer bailed. So he's trying to buy time with me and line up another buyer. And I'm like, that's not going to happen on my clock. Second of all, I was basically being asked to put my reputation on the line for him because I was middlemaning the deal. I told the seller, this is for this other guy. He had already sent somebody to look at the car, so they knew that was the case. But I'm like, now I'm the one that's getting a bad reputation because I said, oh, hey, the buyer will send his funds this week. Just kidding, it's next week. Just kidding. Now my reputation is starting to look bad because my buyer isn't paying, but they don't know. They're just looking at me. So I'm not willing to put my reputation on the line for this guy that's slow paying me, and I have no confidence now at this point that he's actually going to come through on his second promise to pay me. Third of all, the whole thing of like, I forgot how much I spent on my 992 GT3. Like, come on.
I wish I had that kind of money to just forget that
Well,
you drop
if
like
you had that kind of money that you would forget, then you would have the kind of money that you wouldn't have to move monies
Truth,
to pay
yeah.
for a car
Good
that cost
point.
a
Yeah,
third
yeah.
as much. And he was getting a steal on the car. So, like, I know that if I'm getting a really crazy deal on a car, not that I would be inclined to jerk a seller around, but it's like you have to essentially, the saying is like run there with cash, because sometimes on Facebook Marketplace, that's actually what you have to do. Like you see a listing and you're like, I am literally on my way with cash. Please don't sell it. I'll be there in 20 minutes. And that's kind of like when you get a deal online or somebody's hooking you up, like the impetus is even more to make sure you pay really quickly. And he used the phrase, that car isn't going anywhere. I sold it for 10 grand more than he offered me in a day after I canceled the deal. So he was getting a killer deal and he still was trying to play these games. I just wasn't having it. And I mean, there's so much more. Like the fact that he says there won't be a next time. And I'm like, no. That's my line. You didn't pay me. You don't get to get a nasty attitude with me. You are in the wrong. Like he's blaming everybody but himself for the simple fact that he didn't pay for the car when he said he would twice. I'm like, I don't get how people get off like this.
I love Sassy Doug.
Yes. The truth finally came out. People warned me not to deal with switch cars. Was it other people who were also deadbeats?
I also wonder who he's talking to. Now, granted, Renlist is probably not the most honest place in the world or correct place in the world all the time, but anytime I see you mentioned on Renlist, it's all positive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 4 people who hate me online. Like I am not
Do you
perfect.
keep track?
No.
Is there a list?
No. I mean, like in business or they've posted publicly or whatever. Like it is a car business. You cannot do right all the time, and we are human, and I do not do right all the time. But it's like I operate with certain standards, and I expect other people to at least come close to those. I mean, the bare minimum is like, okay, if you say you're going to buy a car, then you buy it. And if you say you're going to pay me on a certain day, then like pay me within a couple days of that day. But when you tell me twice that you're going to pay me and then keep moving the goalposts, I'm like, yeah, screw that. So the irony in all of this is juicy. This is delicious, right? So he slow paid me. That's their dealer industry term for somebody who doesn't pay on time. He was a slow payer because he delayed twice. And I did a little Googling on him. Turns out that he was the founder of a company named Fast Cash for Cars.
What?
Which ironically is no longer in business. Mr. Slowpay started a company, Fast Cash for Cars. Yeah, that was a inaccurate name. Maybe that's why it's not around anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that I found that. I'm just like, man, that's too good. That's too good.
Delicious irony.
Delicious irony. More Wall of Shame stuff coming next week. It'll probably be a shorter story and a little bit more funny, but that one was too good to let go. Oh, no, I forgot. Today, so once I canceled the deal, I essentially wired money instantly to the seller because, again, it was a good deal, and I'm like, this buyer is gonna try to pull something and something shady. So I wired money, finished my deal up so I would have the car, and sure enough, the buyer calls the shop who had the car today and was like, I don't know what Doug told you about what happened, but none of it's true. And I still want to buy the car. And he offered them $5,000 more than he was paying me.
Weird.
And they're like, yep, sorry, he already paid for it. I knew he was going to do that. I knew it. So
I feel like if you have to come into a situation like, I don't know what somebody told you, but it's not true, you probably messed up.
Yes, I've watched enough police videos That guy's lying. Really?
Is he?
Whatever he said about me. I don't have the drugs. He didn't say anything about drugs. I mean,
He's coming with a shovel, just digging himself a hole before the conversation even starts.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so apparently, yes, the truth finally came out. I don't have patience, and yes, I'm blocked by him now.
Wonderful.
Darn. Oh, darn. All right. Thank you to our sponsors for that segment.
Wall of Shame is brought to you by BoxCast. They are a live streaming company based in Cleveland, Ohio, and they serve broadcasters and viewers around the world. Their founders launched BoxCast back in 2013 with one purpose: to make people a part of the experience. If you're looking to live stream your podcast, church service, car show, sporting event, wedding, or even your cannonball attempt, BoxCast is an easy, flexible live streaming platform for organizations. BoxCast is so easy that we are broadcasting this show with a phone. Can confirm. It's right there. Well, it's pointing at Doug right now. But BoxCast, head on over to switchcars.com/BoxCast for your free trial.
Yes, you can run a auction listing and a podcast all with your phone. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Thank you, Steve Jobs.
I don't think he had ever. I don't know,
Yes, you're an Android user, aren't you?
Yeah, just a little bit.
But who is the person in the Android world that like revolutionized the industry?
You know the little Android guy, that little green dude in the commercial. That's
is that
all
like
I got.
the gecko for insurance?
Probably. I don't even think they use it anymore.
I think they do, but anyway. All right. Questions of the week.
Yes. So our questions this week are brought to you by Nuts for Sticks. We'll talk about them in a little bit. So I think we've got a couple of follow-up questions from last week.
Yes.
So, we get some on the live stream here. Both myself and our producer are monitoring this to make sure that we can talk with you guys. So the first one, Jim says that he wants you to call the segment the Scaminator, it's intense, but
I kind of like it. I mean,
it
scam
works.
smeller is a little bit weird.
I think of a stinky shoe when you say that.
I think
smell.
of
I don't know
somebody
why.
getting arrested for something they shouldn't be doing, I don't know.
So maybe we've got a rebrand coming.
Let's take it to a vote. Whoever's watching, what is it, Scaminator or Scam Smeller?
Alrighty, so Jim, other than the great...
Or like a dog. A dog smells
Yeah.
everything, and usually it's butts.
Yeah,
So
a lot of those. All right, so Jim says, so being an adult, sort of, at 75, should I buy a Mercedes instead of keeping the 986 I got from you? Or,
Boxster for those non-car nerds. It's
That's a
Porsche
good point.
Boxster.
Or should I just keep being enough of a kid to keep the Porsche?
For those of you who didn't watch last week or who were and were napping, this is or as our pastor says, have slipped into the second and third stage of anesthesia. Mark Spence asked a question about what's a good adult car. I don't know why Mark Spence was asking that question because he has not grown up yet. And I think most of us are actually actively trying to not grow up, and the car hobby keeps us as children at heart. So I like this question. He's an adult, sort of. So should he buy a Mercedes instead of keeping the Porsche? Abso-friggin-lutely not.
I mean, if it's in addition, maybe, but, I don't think instead of. That's a bit
No, not instead of. No. I mean, the whole point of fun cars is to keep you young and to not take life too seriously. I think one of my favorite references to that is for Calvin and Hobbes readers. Calvin is talking about when people get old, like they slow down and do less and get super boring. And Calvin, the 6-year-old, has an incredible outlook on life. But he basically goes like, man, why would you do that when you have less life left? I think you'd keep doing more and more. He's like, by the time, I'll be 75, I'll be going like a mile a minute, which, he's already super ADHD. And so his stuffed tiger Hobbes is aghast at this proposition. But like, I kind of like that, right? I identify with that. Sure. Why would we stop being kids and get boring cars just because we're old? I mean, it's one thing if we physically can't get in and out of them or can't shift a clutch or something like that, but that's only like you resign yourself to that fact of like, okay, I have to buy a Tiptronic now. It's not like Yeah, let's buy a Chiptronic because it's practical. I don't like shifting in traffic. It's just for the pores.
It's for the pores.
Yeah, no, keep your Porsche, Jim.
Yeah, seriously. All right, so the next one, and I just saw Devin is back in chat today, so he's here.
Devin creating a ruckus.
Yeah, seriously. So last week they said, why are the 99 to 04 911s so hideous? Is there a good solution to fix the headlights eyesore? I took great umbrage with this comment.
Tyler drives a 996.
I've had one for like 5.5, 6 years now, so I'm a little biased.
For those of you who don't know, the 99 to 04 911s are like the bastard child Porsche 911 because of the quote-unquote fried egg headlights, which everybody thinks are absolutely hideous. So, what's that, Andrew? Not everyone. Okay,
I like him now. It could be Stockholm Syndrome, but I like him now.
Is that like your gray interior too?
Honestly, maybe a little bit. That wasn't my first choice, but I love it.
All right, so is there a good solution to fix the headlights eyesore? Yes, buy a 997.
Seriously. I'm in some 996 groups and I see things on the internet, whatever. So many people are trying to design headlight covers. And
that is the worst.
And it looks terrible.
Yes, they're trying to reshape the headlights, which is like that's like Corvette owner level modification stuff.
The 996 is
That's
like
bad.
the Corvette of the Porsche world. The stuff I see online is bananas. Like,
yeah, but no 996 owner thinks their car is rare.
No, that's true. But they put extra badges and extra wings and like make it look like a 997 GT2 because they think it's cool or whatever. All those headlight covers do is tell people you couldn't afford a 997. That's it. The 997 is gorgeous. I love it.
Man.
But just get a 997 or deal with the headlights.
Preach it. Preach it.
Sorry, I got a little fired up. I will be honest. I got the 996 because I couldn't afford a 997. That's the way it was.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, speaking of which, talk about the deal of the week. This is a total side note. But this is why scammers successfully perpetuate scams, is because people operate with the belief that there are deals out there that seem too good to be true that are real and that it's their destiny to find one. But the problem is there actually are deals like that out there. Most of the time you have to be within 5 minutes of them posting it to find it. So if you see it 2 days later and it's still available, it is a scam. But there is one this week that we missed by a couple hours, and it was a 2000 Porsche 911 with factory aero kit. It was, I think, arena red.
Get that taco.
12,000 miles. Gray interior.
Yeah. So it
was
cheaper?
Posted for $33,000 for a factory aero kit 996 with 12,000 miles.
That is so cheap.
It's so cheap, and it was real. That's like scam pricing right there.
Yeah, because those aero kits bring some money.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen them go for less than like 40.
And it was arena red and collector mileage. I mean, somebody's going to, I guarantee you will see that up on Bring a Trailer or P-Car Market or whatever, some other site, a dealer site, and it's going to be 50, 60 grand. All right.
Yeah, so thank you, Nuts for Sticks, for those listener questions of the week. Nuts for Sticks is a brand celebrating the manual transmission in all its forms. Forget flappy paddles, we like shifting ourselves. Check out our fun and funny stick-themed shirts at nuts4sticks.com, that is with the number 4, and save 10% on your order using the discount code SwitchCast. That is nuts4sticks.com and use code SwitchCast.
Speaking of shifting yourself, my wife texted me today to recount a story about our 6-year-old farting, but then there was something bonus in his...
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
Speaking of shifting yourself.
I see.
Anyway.
Whew.
Those are the kind of texts I get from my wife, okay?
Marriage, everybody. I do have to call out Automobile Addiction here in the YouTube chat saying the Lotus Esprit is the greatest car ever made. I think that might be like Tony K in like sneaking into the
No,
chat
I'm
here.
pretty sure he's just never owned one or driven one. That's the
Tony
only
or
way.
automobile?
No, the person who said it was the greatest car ever made. The only way you could say that is not owning one or driving one.
They look cool, at least. I've never
They're
driven one, but
awesome. They are childhood poster cars for sure, but they are unreliable, and the seating position is awkward, and it's tight, and like, I don't know. Whatever. Maybe he does own one, and he's like the Corvette owner. That's like, my Corvette is the best Corvette ever.
My Esprit is
Corvette
best
ever
Esprit.
because I own it.
I do have a Corvette owner question, or a Corvette related question in here.
The answer
Pero-
is C5.
They say, what's the best first Corvette and spec if you want to be a stereotypical Corvette owner? It's actually C5. You were right.
No, yeah, I guess if you want to go to shows, it would be a C5. Like the C4 is the Corvette curmudgeon, the cheap old boomer Corvette guy that gets the blue plate specials at the diner, I think. And when people talk about like the cutoff jean shorts and Marlboro hat and New Balance, like that's typically the C4 Corvette guys. Like nobody wears cutoff jean shorts and drives a C5. Like it's the wrong era.
That's true.
But the car that started the chrome taillight louvers, Corvette badges everywhere, custom colored leather and steering wheel covers, and just gaudying up your Corvette to take it to a show, I think is a C5. So if you want to be like that guy at the cruise in, you buy a C5 and you just clear out friggin' Ecklers. And yes.
Yeah, it's amazing for me to see a stock C5 now that doesn't have like chrome like flames in the taillights.
I know.
Or like extra badges or whatever, or an American eagle, like, or flag and an eagle inside the hood that they pop at car shows. It's amazing.
My neighbor, my work neighbor, rest in peace, he bought a yellow Corvette from a guy, and it had flames painted down, and they were painted, and he wanted to sell it to me, and I'm like, but the flames are they're painted.
Like, they're on there.
Yeah, they're on there for good. I can't take them off.
Yeah.
Why would you want to take them off?
Well,
Because I don't play Call of Duty. I don't know.
also, Devin has come back with, I think they've abandoned the Porsche idea because now they're asking, they have OBD2 E36 318 Ti, and they're asking, should they swap it for an E46 six-cylinder or an E36 six-cylinder?
Wow.
Sounds like a lot of work.
I don't know. Do the turn signals work on his BMWs?
Got to top up the fluid.
That's a more important question. There's too many initials in that question. This is not car nerd trivia. All right. The Shrewd Negotiator, brought to you by VinWiki, because I think Ed invented that term. The Shrewd Negotiator is essentially somebody who's auditioning for the Wall of Shame. It is one step removed from that, and is somebody who's trying really hard to be awesome at making car deals, but just maybe tries a little bit too hard or comes up short. So this one was a lot of 3 cars for sale on Ferrari Chat. And I think most of them were Ferraris, but I don't know. Anyway, group of 3 cars, and I offered $125,000 for all 3. His response was, "Thanks, your bid is currently a little higher than a couple of the other bids, but unless I get 140 or maybe 130, I don't want to close the deal until next week. If I don't get a serious offer by next week, I would gladly take your offer." So this in and of itself is not a problem, right? This is not Wall of Shame worthy. There's nothing wrong with his wanting to explore all options. However, as a dealer, when I make an offer on a car, part of my margins come from offering cars to my customers or to the market that haven't already been overexposed. If that guy is out there offering every other dealer and everybody else on the internet the cars for 130 and I pay 125, then when I try to go mark them up, people will say, well, I could have bought this car for 130. So if he exhausts all possible buyers, that limits my ability to resell. It cuts my feet out from underneath me. Second, this was June of 2022. The market was teetering at that point on the start of a really big decline, which we're seeing the fruit of now. And offers have to expire, right? I can't just say, yeah, sure, my offer is good for eternity. So I told him plainly that my offer was an exploding one. If he was trying to squeeze the last few grand out, he couldn't depend on me as like his backup, his safety offer. I mean, nobody wants that in a relationship, right? Like, hey, will you go out with me? Well, I'm looking at these other 3 guys, and we'll see how they pan out. But if they don't like me, I'll come back to you and go out with you.
It's like, I'm totally on if that doesn't work out.
Right. No, it's like, go pound sand. I don't know. Maybe if you really love her, fine. But yeah, I didn't really love these cars. So anyway, I don't know how it ended up working out for him. I never heard back from him, and I don't fault him at all for taking this tack, but it's not a good tack to take with dealers, and I see people do this a lot. They post their cars on a forum for sale, and they're like, oh, the dealer offered me 128. I'm going to trade it in tomorrow, but you guys can buy it for 129. And I'm like, you're totally screwing over the dealer that you're about to trade it to. And if I was the dealer and I saw that, I'd be like, hey, man, sorry, my offer's changed because now you, like, devalued your own car. So, and more often than not, it's not successful, and I've even burned myself on doing that. You know, I got a little greedy or whatever, and I said, hey, I'm not going to take this offer right now because I'm holding out for another couple potential offers. And, you know, I knew the risk I was taking because those offers may or may not pan out. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And again, I'm not faulting this guy for ethics at all. This is not an ethics thing. It's just a matter of strategy, but it's, in my opinion, is not a great negotiation strategy. All right. From the shrewd negotiator to the scam smeller, or should we call it the scaminator?
We can try on Scaminator for size
All
this
right.
week. See how it
Scaminator,
feels.
I barely know her.
Oh God, that was something that was in my head. I was like, meh, maybe I don't say that.
That never occurs with me.
Oh God.
All right. Yeah, so this is an ad for a Porsche 996 Millennial Edition. Millennium Edition.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Mhm.
Millennium Edition. All right. Fire away. Read
Alrighty.
the ad.
You
So what I have to do
got your drum
is
ready?
Yeah, I got my scam alert. When I know it's a scam, I will hit this thing. Let's go.
Alrighty. 2000 Carrera Millennium Edition. 24,000 miles. Number 138 of 911. Super unique violet chroma flare paint. Ugh. IMS done, along with chain ramps. Engine and transmission dry ice blasted while removed. Exterior and interior were recently detailed. Full paint correction was done. Will not find a cleaner example. New clutch. IMS done, January 2022. Car needs nothing and drives like new.
Keep going.
It is a 2002 Porsche 911.
Oh, there's one.
Cryptocurrency is okay.
There's one.
They'll deliver. It takes gas. The odometer is 24,000 miles. Clean title and an automatic transmission.
Oh, there's one.
They didn't do the Millennium in an auto, did they?
No, they did not. Although a lot of sites default, like if you list on Facebook, it defaults to an automatic.
Okay.
So that's not like an automatic, pun intended there, an automatic notification of a scam. But there's two things in there that triggered me, tipped me off. I'm sorry. One was that he got the year wrong in the listing versus the description. Two is that he said cryptocurrency is okay. Now, this is a Craigslist ad. Most Porsche guys are not, people selling Porsches are not 25 years old. Tyler, fine, okay. But like rarely do I see an actual ad where guys are like, yeah, I want to take cryptocurrency for my car. No, they want a secure transaction. So typically scammers will put in, yep, I'm fine with crypto because it's that much easier to scam people that way. But this one actually took a little bit more homework to find out it was a scam. It wasn't immediately apparent from the language in the ad, and it actually wasn't even immediately apparent for the price. So it was a 2000 Millennium Edition Carrera, which does carry a little bit of premium over regular 911. It was pretty low mileage, all the maintenance done. They were asking $43,000, which is like moderate, kind of top of the market.
Really
So
worth that much? That's
yes,
low miles,
it
but-
should sell for like 45, maybe retail.
Okay.
But we were thinking we'd offer like 39. So we weren't even like, oh my gosh, let's run to the bank and get cash for this. But I started doing a little bit of homework, and the listing was in Cincinnati, Ohio, but the plate in the photo was in Texas. I'm like, okay, no big deal. Maybe he's reusing photos. Maybe he moved. Okay. So I ran the plate number, put it in Carfax, and looked up the history. And it had been in Texas, but then just recently it was retitled in Montana. And I'm like, okay, so it's in Texas, titled in Montana like a month ago, and now it's for sale again already. That doesn't make sense. So then I Googled the VIN that I got from Carfax, and I pulled up a Renlist ad that is active from a guy in California that had the exact same text as this ad, but the price was 51 grand. So he's asking almost 10 grand more. And I'm like, okay, this is the legit ad. The guy in California is selling it. And this guy put an ad in Craigslist in Ohio and basically just copy and pasted the ad, took a few photos, and dropped the price by 8 grand and thought like, oh yeah, this is a too good to be true price. But the problem was the 51 was so overpriced that the 43 still wasn't like a scam alert price. But all that to say, you can't immediately tell that cars are scams just based on the listing and based on the language. Sometimes it takes a little bit of legwork and a little bit of homework, and also knowing what to look for. I know the little things to look for that are tip-offs to that it might be a scam. So if you're not sure, consult an expert before you just give them money. And I mean, the guy had a phone number. Like, we talked to him on the phone. And we asked him,
really?
like, hey, why is the car in Ohio? I thought it was in California. And he just, like, kind of fumbled over his words and didn't have a good explanation. So, like, it's not all just, like, foreigners, you know, texting via WhatsApp and stuff like that. Like, sometimes it's real people and you can talk to a real person, but it's not what it's cracked up to be.
Truthfully, though, hindsight being what it is, I should have realized that this was a scam when somebody who had a 24,000 mile 996 already had the chain ramps done. That is a Renlist thing for sure. There's no way somebody on Craigslist is going to have that done already. That's somebody who
true.
subscribes to the Renlist Bible of
Right. Spend
building
money
an
on
entire new
everything.
engine.
Right. Yes. I didn't
I've
check
definitely
to see
never
if it's
done
still
before.
for sale. But so last week I brought up a car for you, Tyler. It was a 37,000 mile
yeah.
Aventura in green over classic gray Porsche 993 on Bring a Trailer. Okay. And so it had sold in 2020 for 67, something like that.
Yeah.
Back when the market went crazy, before the market went crazy. And earlier this year, at the height of the market, it probably would have been a $125,000 car. Okay, did you see what it sold for?
I didn't. I wanted to keep it a surprise so I can be depressed
okay.
and drink myself to sleep tonight.
We're going to quick guesses. Dan, 95, 993, 37,000 miles. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, give me a number. Too late. 65. What?
Dude,
Andrew.
I would buy it right now for that.
Oh my gosh, you guys are terrible. The appraiser says 110. It sold for 101 grand.
Oh, God.
Which, okay, you say like, oh, that's crazy, but that's actually kind of low compared to what they have been going for. And that confirms that the high-end car market is down a solid like 20 to 25%.
That's true.
So, like, I was thinking when I saw this one, I'm like, that's good for you, Tyler, because it's coming back to your level
Yes,
of ownership. It's bad for me because I have
Yeah.
a 40,000 mile 993 that I'm trying to sell. And when I initially bought the car, this is how quickly the market is moving. When I initially bought the car, I kind of pegged it as like a 120-ish retail car. And, you know, I had some room, obviously. I wasn't banking on that, but I'm like, that's kind of the ceiling of it. And I think, you know, well, now we have a fresh result. It's $106K with fees.
God,
so
yeah, if 993s and some GT3s could just keep coming back into my field of view, that would be fantastic. Sorry for your short-term loss there, Doug.
That's all right. I'm not going to lose. I'm in mine right. I got it priced right, but I would have liked for that car to have gone to 120. So, All right, props and flops time.
And Props and Flops is brought to you by Switch Cars. Switch Cars is the enthusiast's dealership where we buy, sell, consign, service, and store only cars that we like ourselves. Check out our hand-picked inventory at switchcars.com. Our pick of the week from Switch Cars inventory is
the aforementioned Porsche 993.
It's really gorgeous.
It is really gorgeous. 42,000 original miles. Original paint, good service history, and it is midnight blue metallic over midnight blue interior. No gray interior.
But it's so good.
It's so pretty. It's really, really nice car, and we're asking only 110. So, yeah, there you go. Really, really nice car. The flop of the week. This is one I've been saving for a while. A guy posted a GoFundMe entitled, "Please help me save my car from Chase." This is not a police chase. This is Chase Bank. $40,000 goal. Nobody donated at the time that I screenshotted this. "Hi there, my name is Scott. First off, I'm not the one to ask for help, but this is a last resort. I'm trying to save my car from a greedy finance company called Chase. I have made my car payment on time and even earlier for the past 2 years, and I have bank records to prove that. And all of a sudden, they close my account and put my car up for repo, all because the car is the last run of the production model, and the car is worth more to them as they repo it and sell it. So here I am trying to raise money to buy my car outright because that's the only payment they will take. I have been to banks and other car lenders to try to refinance the car, but it's out on repo. No one will touch the car till it's off of repo status. So here I am asking for a little bit of help from everyone to say, screw you, Chase. And once the repo has been lifted, I will 100% send every fund back to everyone once the car is financed again."
Trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro. I mean, fundamentally, there's so many things wrong with this that we don't even need to go into. But the best comment ever on his post was, this guy said, "Bro said Chase liked my car so much they stole it, I swear." I'm like, there's not somebody up in the towers of banks going, "Oh man, this Subaru, look at the car market. This Subaru is worth a bunch more. Let's repo it and make like $2,000 on the spread." That is not how banks get rich. In fact, it's almost the opposite. If they're looking at it going, "Man, this guy's really underwater," they would look at that as a high risk situation.
Yeah.
Like, this. Oh my gosh.
I paid everything on time.
Yeah.
Did
okay.
you?
Did you pay all of it?
Yeah.
I paid my payment on time. I just only paid half the amount I contracted to. Oh, there's so much to unpack there. I'm going to leave that one there. All right, prop of the week. This one's just easy and personal. My good friend John Sabo, he's a car finder, and every now and then you put business aside and you get excited over a personal car. And Sabo, Mr. Exotic Car Finder, found me a minty fresh 2000 Ford Excursion rear-wheel drive with a 7.3 liter diesel, which is the only engine to have in those, because the alternative is a 6-liter Power Stroke, which is the bomb motor, and the 8.10 liter Triton V10, which drinks gas like, what's that? Oh, also shoots spark plugs. Yes, it drinks gas like a comedian drinks whiskey, So anyway, that was a terrible analogy.
You really tried, and
I didn't
commend
write that
you
one
for that,
beforehand.
But
I was thinking of that one guy, Ron. What's his name? That like
Ron White. Yeah,
Ron White. Friggin' just yes, it drinks gas like Ron White drinks.
The joke
alcohol.
still wasn't as bad as that motor, though.
Oh, we couldn't go a whole episode without that. The Ron White thing. You got to give me something for Ron White.
I commend you for the effort.
I had a picture in my mind of somebody guzzling something, and it's Ron White. Anyway, thank you for enduring us tonight. Bad jokes and all. We will be back next week, I promise. And anyway, thank you to my producer, Ethan Huffnagel. Thank you to my co-host here, my banter provider, Tyler Sanders. Thank you very much to our sponsors, Boxcast, Nuts for Sticks, Switch Cars, Celebrity Machines, and Stephen Holm Woodworking. Our bumper music is provided by Emily and Ivor. You can stream the full album on Spotify or SoundCloud. This episode will be available next Monday in audio format wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. as we look forward to edifying, educating, and entertaining you on the drive of your life.